I've got 5 more great tips for you for GTmetrix about how you can use this amazing tool. Let's have a look now. Let's have a look. So you'll use this document later on for one of your exercises. getters.at/ss2. That's SSTWO. Okay, let's have a look what's involved on this one. Okay, GTmetrix waterfall report. We're going to find the biggest resource. We're going to use the GTmetrix video tool, and we're going to have a look at the GTMS history report and some tips that GTmetrix gives you straight off the bat. Okay, let's get started with the waterfall report. Okay, coming into here, let's actually open up this one here, this old report here, New York Times. If we scroll down here, as you know now, you're getting used to these tabs. The waterfall report is down here. Now, you might want to give that URL to somebody. Watch this now. #waterfall. And wow, it's taking you straight in there. Let's just do the summary, see if it works the same. Wow, how cool is that? So each one of these has a link. So that's structure, performance, video, and history. So really cool. So let's come back into the waterfall. Now, what's great in here is that you get to see everything to do with your particular page that is being loaded, the resources, and specifically what's called requests over here. So as we scroll down, you can see so much stuff, and this is why this page is getting a pretty slow rating of an E and 43% performance. So if we scroll down, you'll see a number of things in the waterfall, like 281 requests. So that's 281 different resources that have been loaded, 7 megabytes. And in fact, it's download. It's actually, the whole site is 30 megabytes compressed. So the browser's downloading 7, then the browser has to uncompress nearly 40 megabits. That's huge. Let's keep scrolling. You'll start to see things like this. 2.6 seconds. These are the sort of things that you should actually be looking out for your speed. And you see straight away, it's 1.6 megabytes. So no wonder it's taking so long to load. So if I was having to consult with these guys, I would basically do this. Click on the size, scroll back to the top, in this case doing small to large, click again, and there you go. There's that big file sitting there at the top. So you can see how long it's actually taking. And if you hold your mouse over it, you get to see a lot of the breakdown, specifically all the different elements that go into actually downloading this this asset. Scroll down, scroll down. Let's have a look for any more big blocks like that, see if there's any more. So there's none. Okay, so that's the big boy. Okay, come back up to the top. You'll also see in here that you can filter the assets, the requests, by different groups. Now it's actually grouping all these together, so I'm going to take these off, and there you go, you can see just the fonts. So it's downloading all these different fonts. What about images? Let's click on there, and there's the images. So it's now telling me, if I scroll down the bottom here, that 74 images are loaded on here, totaling 2.8 meg. Wow, that's a lot of images for just a single page. Some other great things that you can find in the waterfall is errors. Notice here the status. If you click on that, and if there's 400 errors or other errors like that, they'll come into the top or the bottom. I'll click again, now it'll bring up that. There it is, 404, 307. Let's click again. So we've got 3 errors on this page that are showing up. 200 is the request code for OK, so that's all loaded. But here we have a problem. If I click on the little plus, we can see what actual file that is. So this file is not loading, and you've got more details in here. I'm going quite quick because there's a lot of information. A lot of it is intuitive, but these are the little tricks that you won't find easily on your own. So I'll click again and pick up those ones. So 404 means file not found. So this file doesn't exist. Now, it takes a long time to download files that don't exist, and it's wasted time because it doesn't exist. Here's another one, the domain. The number of domains that are being loaded on a site are crucial because each one has what's called a DNS lookup. You can see that in here. See down here, the actual DNS lookup is 12 milliseconds, and it's taking 150 milliseconds to connect. So every time you have a different domain, you have a new DNS lookup. We'll talk about more about that later on when we talk about DNS. So down you go. How many different websites are being downloaded from here? It's just huge. So you can see now why this site is very slow. Okay, so you know the size, domain, and status. That's really cool. So that gives you some good ideas about using the waterfall viewer. Let's have a look at the next tip. Okay, find the biggest resources fast. Well, I've actually just done that, haven't I? Because if I click into here and click on the size, you can see straight away the actual resources. And keep going up, 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 up. So right away you can see that all these resources here, all the way down, 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 are pretty well oversized. If they're images, they definitely are oversized. Let's click on images, and you can see now, let's just sort again just to make double sure, all those are images. So probably every single one of those is oversized. If you're not sure what the image is, you can come down and click on the plus, and actually click on the image from, and it'll show you what the image is so you can find that on your page quickly without actually having to open it in the browser. So that's the tip number 2. Okay, let's now have a look at the video tool. Come up to here. Now, scroll up to the top, click on video, and see if there's a video in here. And there is. If there isn't, there's an option over here on the right to actually load that. Let me see if I can load one without a video. Let's pick up one of the other reports. I'm not sure if these got videos on them or not. You can see here, there's the icon for video. So this one's got no video. Scroll down, click on video, and enable video and retest. So it's going to do a new test. Let me come back to the other one while that's running. Coming up, it was the New York Times. Let's go to the New York Times one. And click into the video. And what this allows you to see is how the page is loading. And you see a breakdown here of the core elements. And there's the fully loaded is 5.1 seconds. So the first contentful page is 239. The largest content is 3.5 seconds. So you see the bars in here, which relate to the color code here. So you can quickly find out where things are going. And I can move the bar across to here to see what's actually loading at that particular point. Let's click on the run. We have to run it. And you can see what is loaded at the different points. So now we've got one image loaded. So you can see which image is loading first, which is the one on the bottom right. And then the next one is the advert up the top, the boot. And if we keep on scrolling, we can see now we've got the central areas. So you can see the way the page is actually loading. And this is helpful because, especially to do with images, you can see which images need to be optimized. And you can see straight away, these two should be highly optimized. This one's coming in later because it's possibly too big. You might have to optimize that as well. And we can see on 7 seconds now, we can see what's been loaded. So that's how you can use the video. Okay, collaborate on gtmetrix history report. This is really interesting. If we come up here and go into the history, you can actually see that you can add a note in here. Now this is a collaborative note. So now I'm going to put a note here. Because it's tied to a specific URL, this note is saved with the URL. Let's see if I can add another note. And there we go. So if somebody else has this URL, or of course if they're logged in, but if you give them this URL, they'll actually see those notes. Okay, the last tip, gtmetrix speed tips. This is really good because gtmetrix gives you a whole bunch of tips. Let's come into here, have a look. That's Crunchlets. Let's have a look at the other one. Okay. So we need to come into the summary tab, scroll down, and you can see in here all the top issues, and it's giving you a priority as well. And isn't that really cool? If I click on here, what is the highest priority? It tells me exactly what the problem is. And there's the image that we spotted earlier on, and all the other images there. So you can see down, 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 down. Avoid unload event listeners. So if you don't know what the heck this is, then you can click on how to improve it through these options here. If you want to know all the audits that's been done here, you can click into that option and it'll show you all the different audits. There you go. How was that? Hopefully those tips are really useful, and definitely use gtmetrix as your tool of choice. It's just so good and so easy, as you can see from these tips that I'm sharing with you.